All right, Javi Baez in midseason form. Len Kasper behind the microphone. And here he is, the voice of the Cubs who says hello on his Friday edition of High Heat. Len, nice to talk. How are you today, buddy? Okay?
Chris, doing great. It's nice to be talking baseball with you. It's been, a long 4 months or so, hasn't it? And we are a week away from at least most of the teams opening up and only 6 days away from the actual first game of the season. Can't wait.
Unbelievable. Now, I understand, we know the Ross and 4 or 5 Cubs that, wait for results of tests and all those kinds of things. It's sort of a weird spring training, so I don't think they're that far behind. Are the Cubs ready to play a game or two if they had to right now? They still need a little time. Give me a little status report where they are here as we head to opening day in 6 days, 7 days.
Generally, I would say the Cubs are ready. I think the two big health questions right now would be Anthony Rizzo, who's been dealing with a day-to-day back issue, and Jose Quintana, as you know, sliced his hand in a dishwashing accident a few weeks ago. But other than that, you're looking at video of some of their core guys, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber. I think this is a big year for Ian Happ. Yu Darvish, I think, kind of in March was viewed as the opening day starter. Kyle Hendricks actually will take the ball on opening day. I've called him the best pitcher in baseball who hasn't made an all-star team. He went, I think, 6 1/3 in one of the intra-squad games the other day on just 70 pitches. So Hendricks will go 1. Darvish will go 2. You've got John Lester, Tyler Chatwood, probably Alec Mills, who will fill out the 5-man rotation until Jose Quintana is back. But, Chris, I think the whole key to this season, if he had to break it down to one guy, Craig Kimbrell, the closer, who's on a Hall of Fame track. As you know, did not have a very good year last year, but he looks solid so far in camp.
Yeah, he killed him in the last 10 days of the season, destroyed him against the Cardinals. It's a big year for him, no question. How about Ross? Obviously, his first spring training without any managerial experience halted. It's sort of a tricky spot for any manager, especially a first-year manager. Give me some thoughts on how he's going to handle this 60-game sprint. What do you see there?
Couple of things on David Ross. Number one, he's the same guy he was when he played. And that sounds weird to say as a compliment, right? Because he's in a very different role now. But I think over the course of time, you see guys who play, and then a few years later, they become managers, and they change just a little bit. And I don't know if that's a good thing. And so I looked at David Ross when he played as kind of a manager in waiting. He had that vibe. He was that kind of leader in the clubhouse. So the fact that he is being himself, to me, is a very good sign. I think he will be a quick study, and nobody knows the answer to how managers are going to react to the 60-game sprint with all the different rules, Chris, but this is all new for him anyway, right? The 3-batter minimum, I talked to him over the offseason. He said, everything I do now is going to be new, so the 3-batter minimum is no big deal to me. And I do wonder if some managers who have a very specific routine and a way that they go about things, if this will be a little harder on them because they're so used to doing things in a certain way.
Good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, Schwarber is going to be their DH. No need to put him out in left field. They don't have the great bat to replace him, but at least from a defensive purposes, they get him out of there, and they can put Almora in left. So a little break with the DH in the NL as far as Kyle Schwarber is concerned. Give me some thoughts there.
Well, I think David Ross is going to mix and match. Schwarber definitely will get his at-bats in the DH spot. Victor Caratini, remember that name. He's one of the best backup catchers in baseball. He's going to catch Yu Darvish. So every 5th day, it'll be the backup catcher in the lineup. When that happens, I think Wilson Contreras, who's a very good offensive catcher, will get some spot starts at DH. I think Caratini will get some days where he'll be the catcher. I'm guessing they're going to go with 3. Josh Phegley, I would think, would make the 30-man roster to start the season, so that allows Ross to use both catchers. Steven Souza Jr. Is kind of their big offseason acquisition, essentially replacing the bat of Nicholas Castellanos. Souza, as you know, did not play at all last year because of the knee injury, but he's looked terrific in camp, can play all 3 outfield spots. So he might be a key offensively for this team from the right side.
Interesting about the Cubs with Bryant. You know, you always get the idea that this will be short-lived here in that city now for him. What's the vibe with your third baseman, Len? What can you tell me on that?
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, but I hope you're wrong because I am such a huge Chris Bryant fan. I know Theo is, David Ross is, everybody here loves him. He's just, he's one of those guys. Anthony Rizzo applies in this case too. Every team needs two or three players. You never have to talk to him. The only time the manager has to call Chris Bryant into his office is to tell him he made the All-Star team. I think even in years when he is considered by some outside that clubhouse to have quote a down year, and last year was one of those years. He still had an OPS, I believe, in the 900s. He made the All-Star team. He set a bar that was so high by winning Rookie of the Year and MVP in his first two seasons that anything less than an MVP year is seen as some sort of disappointment. But he handles everything incredibly well. I don't think the contract and all that situation that played out off the field is going to affect him on the field at all this year. And if the Cubs are really good, he's going to be here, and I think he'll be here through at least next year. He'll be a free agent after 2021. But Chris, trying to predict in this age of the pandemic and all kinds of weird stuff, I don't know if we have any idea what the landscape will look like in 12 to 14 months.
That's a very fair point. Now, the schedule there, Lenny, give me some thoughts. Anything interesting? I know they have a lot of games with the Brewers in their ballpark. I know Cardinals, I think they have 7 in St. Louis. Give me a little rundown on the Cubs' 60-game schedule. It's easy travel. I mean, they only play the American League Central. Those teams, cities are not that far away. Detroit, Cleveland. Give me a little rundown on the Cubs' schedule. What do you see here beginning next Friday?
Milwaukee and the Cubs have the fewest miles traveled among all major league teams because of being in the middle of the country. I don't know about you. I was a little surprised they didn't go with 5-game series to limit even more some of that travel. And as you say, there will be 7 and 3. The Cubs, I believe, play Milwaukee and St. Louis, 7 at home, 3 on the road. Opposite for the Reds and the Pirates. This whole thing in both central divisions may come down to the top teams and how they play against Pittsburgh, Detroit, Kansas City. Look, everybody's in it this year because it is a short season. But the teams that are rebuilding and the teams that on paper are not supposed to necessarily contend, you might have to sweep Detroit and Pittsburgh. And those are the games that may determine who wins each of these central divisions. I think the NL Central is going to be incredibly competitive. I think the 4 teams that everybody talks about all could finish within a couple of games. That would be the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Brewers. I'll tell you, Chris, the Reds are the most intriguing team in the league to me. I like their rotation a lot. They've got a good bullpen. And Moustakas and Castellanos, really good acquisitions. Nick Senzel, if he's healthy, I think the sky's the limit for him. So the Reds may be the Cubs team to beat this year.
Good job, Len. Well done. We'll watch all year and obviously get you on plenty of times. Thanks for a few minutes. Stay healthy. Appreciate it.